What
Ranjan
is the
Bose, let me
common
bring
platform
you
between
in.
AAP
The
and
BJP
Assam?
is saying we don't need a backroom deal. This is an issue as far as the opposition is concerned. And fair enough, because today this is not just about the candidate or the number or the ideology. The numbers were always in the favor as far as the BJP is concerned, even as far as ideology is concerned. With the candidature of Yashwant Sinha, that argument also didn't hold true. I think the larger issue today is, as far as the opposition is concerned, is about who really is in the driver's seat. And that is why we're seeing this back and forth between the TMC and the Congress.
Exactly. Hello. Exactly so. The basic problem is Congress doesn't know where does it stand. Ideally, against a national party, there should be another national party. Now look at the difference in their politics. BJP is occupying the space of the small regional parties and emerging as a truly national party from northeast to down south. On the other hand, what Congress is doing is one should question whether it is merely in the business of selling signboard and depending on others to just come up make a team together. If we just go through the presidential candidate issue and the vice president issue, it is clear now, instead of the dog wagging the tail, it is the tail that is wagging the dog. So Yashwant Sinha was practically pitched by Trinamool, and now that Congress brought its candidate or came up with a candidate, Trinamool didn't support it. And if we just go down, it's not about Trinamool and Congress. Trinamool is, of course, trying its best. But if we just go back to the left, if we see the stand of the left, in various things and other parties, it is these regional parties, then things are clear. And I think the crisis has began. The opposition became just demolition of the opposition has practically become evident right from the UP election. And after the recent changeover in Maharashtra, they have simply lost the heart. That is what is the crisis. They don't know what exactly they are asking for.
I also want to understand, this is an opposition that keeps saying that we will all unite and take on the BJP in 2024. But how is that even going to happen if this is the scenario that we continue to face today, where there is no consensus, even as far as a candidature for either the VP or the presidential polls is concerned? Because as I said, even when the candidature of Draupadi Murmu was announced, we heard from Mamata Banerjee saying that if we knew about the candidature of Draupadi Murmu, maybe things would have been different. So I want to understand today, who is dependent on whom? Is the Congress dependent on the TMC? Is the TMC dependent on the Congress? Is there a part tussle there that's going on which is leading to this disjointed opposition that we are seeing?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
Obviously, Congress the process has started from many years. Now it is so evident. Congress became weak. Mamata Banerjee is simply questioning Congress's right. Nothing else. And Mamata Banerjee has nothing to lose because she is the boss in West Bengal, where Congress doesn't exist. She has swallowed Congress. And the whole, the stake is very high in for Congress. So that is exactly what is happening. Everyone is trying to take the other one for a ride. And Congress, you see, it can happen, as I said, as long as NDA was there, BJP was a strong contender. It was a strong party. Now, if the anchor force is weak, then you can't expect an unity among it, because everyone is up for it. I mean, you tell me, wherever the regional parties are there, will they give space to Congress? No. The answer is a strict no. And that explains everything.
Dhirendra Pratap Singh, let me bring you in. As I said, it was not just about the position that the TMC took as far as wanting to abstain for this voting. The other embarrassment for the opposition was the cross-voting that we saw. And as I put out those numbers when I started the show, MLAs and MPs across states, across the country. But there were almost 5 MLAs as far as Rajasthan is concerned. And this is a Congress-led state. Isn't this a big embarrassment that your own MLAs don't have faith in the candidature that you put out?
In fact, the party is going into the details of this voting of the presidential candidate election, and we will find who were these black sheeps, and definitely disciplinary action would be taken against them. Now, some people, as I told you earlier, political vendetta is the practice of the day. The center is using everything from ED to CBI to income tax to harass the Congress leaders. So I don't know whether it had happened in the case of Rajasthan also, and in some parts of Gujarat also, and in Madhya Pradesh also. I got this news that some of our MLAs they were made black sheep, and ultimately they had gone against the party whip. So the party is taking it very seriously, and action would be taken against them. As far as Murmuji's election is concerned, it was a foregone conclusion that she is going to win, and Congress want to congratulate the new president of India, as they have got the majority in the country, and it was a sure shot conclusion that she is going to win.
No, that was never. It was a no contest from the beginning as far as Draupadi Murmu's candidature is concerned. That's not even the point of this debate. The point of this debate is that there was cross-voting that took place, and there was a party that decided to abstain and not support the opposition's candidate. That means there are cracks as far as the opposition is concerned. Today, we've seen Margaret Alva hit out at Mamata Banerjee, saying that this isn't a time for whataboutery, ego or anger. So the Congress definitely feeling that this is a decision that's been taken not on facts, but simply because of an ego issue between both the parties.
Now everybody knows that Mamata Didi was born and brought up by the Congress. And it is a very sad part of the story that she is changing every day her face. And that is the problem. But I thought after the declaration of vice presidential election also, she would again reconsider her stand. And then she would find that Congress is a natural partner of opposition, and Congress is the natural leader of the opposition as far as the party is concerned and as far as the base of the Congress is concerned. And if one party is based in one state, it is still considered as a regional party. Congress has got a national base. Congress has got a great history behind it. So Mamata ji has to thought on these lines, and I thought after reconsidering her views and after getting things from central, she will realize that her stand was not good, and she is not going in the right direction.
Okay. As I said, a disgruntled Congress today. We'll really have to see how this goes. Will this actually be a template as far as 2024 is concerned? Anurag Sharma, I want to actually give you the final word. And now that it's already over and done, but looking back, don't you think it would have been gracious of the opposition if there were already cracks as far as a consensus is concerned to completely dump the candidate as far as the opposition is concerned and just have popular support for one candidate? It was already a historic moment that the country was witnessing. Why not be a part of it?
They should have. And I really, for the life of me, cannot understand why they did. I mean, you made a joke out of Mr. Yashwant Sinha. He was, I think, not even allowed to campaign in West Bengal. He was proposed by the TMC. He's a member of the TMC, and they didn't even allow him to come and campaign there. At the end of the day, you have such an inspiring candidate as Draupadi Murmuji. And I think just her life story, the inspiration, the way she's worked, the way she is, and what she represents should have been far, far more acceptable to every other party. But the issue with some of these parties is their ego gets in their way. They don't look beyond their nose. It's very unfortunate. Look at what they've done now. It's just the TMC's ego. It's just the TMC's ego and the Congress's ego. Last time TMC nominated someone, so we're going to do this time. Who is following whom? There is no clear-cut leadership. There is no clear-cut ideology. You really have parties who are opposing each other. The space Congress seems to vacate, or anybody who's grown in the Congress is normally tends to throw out. They create their own parties. We've seen this in state after state. And the Congress goes back to fight. So Congress really is in shambles, in complete shambles. The only thing they could possibly do is a satyagraha for one family. I mean, that was a joke. They went and burned someone's scooter and some poor man's car. Is that the way to do things?
Yeah, that's